Well, hi, it's Jerry with I Love RV Life. For the last 8 of our 10 years of RV travel, we have never used a Garmin GPS. Well, I guess it's time. This is the RV 895. We've been using it for about 3 months now. I'm going to share the features and our experience and why you might want to consider something like this for your RV travel. Hi, it's Jerry. Joan and I travel all the time, do a lot of very extensive route planning. I've got videos all over our channel. You can go out to ilovervlife.com, go to the search and do travel planning, and you can see several things that pop up about how we do our planning before we go out on a trip. Sometimes we're out for many, many months. That's the case that we're experiencing right now. We're going to be out for almost 3 months, and we have been all over from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, back to Georgia. So we've been doing a lot of travel. And we were contacted recently by TechnoRV, and they said, look, we've been going through your videos and you don't use a GPS. Why? And I was really honest with them. I said, look, it's been a love-hate relationship that I've had with GPSs. I used them in my corporate travel for over 20 years. Extensively from the very first versions that came out. I mean, literally I had drawers full of these things of where, every time an update would come or new software or new features, I would travel in one, because usually I was, I flew like 2 million miles. I was all over the United States, Canada, on and on and on. And in rural areas many times, and I didn't have, you can use maps. A lot of times I didn't have a clue where I was going from rental car to wherever I was going in a destination, and GPSs were very helpful. GPSs sometimes will get you from point A to point B with no troubles. Other times, I would go weird routes, but I'd eventually get to my destination. Now in a car, if you went a weird route, that wasn't a big deal. But I started using them in the first 2 years of our travel. Again, this is 2014, 2015, early into 2016. And GPSs would send you down some wicked routes in your RV. I mean, I've been through dirt roads and cow paths and just some really crazy routes. But let me be, real honest with you here. That was 8 years ago when I finally just put them in the drawer and said, enough's enough. So TechnoRV said, look, you really need to give these Garmin GPSs another look, because a lot of things have changed. Software has changed, algorithms have changed, the maps are getting better. Just give it a shot. So I said, send me one. So this is what they sent me. It is the, I'll go ahead and click this. This is the Garmin 895. It's an 8-inch screen. Got a lot of features and functions. And I said, look, I'll give it a try. Look, before I do a video, I'm going to use this thing for a couple months, and I'm going to use it on various routes. I'm going to use it on like point to point, off the interstate to the campground. I'm going to use it to where I'm going to have to kind of manufacture or create my own route. That's the biggest challenge. If I wanted to get off the interstate and go down state roads, you have to do things like a waypoint settings to where you force the GPS to go certain routes. And I'm going to use Google Maps on my phone, and I'm going to use this in the F350 and make some comparisons. I'm going to also write down my physical route on paper, because I don't know how much of this I can trust. So I'm going to give it a good, honest review. And he said, look, that's all I asked for you. Give it an honest review. So I'm going to go ahead and give you kind of a preface here. It worked really well. I'll be real upfront with you. I was a bit surprised that it would do as well as it would do. And there's a number of reasons for that. And we'll start going into some features here in just a second. The nice thing about it is you build your RV that you're using. So I went in and I was able to tell it that I'm towing it with a, full size 8-foot bodied F350 Super Duty Ford truck, pickup truck, and that my camper was 13.5 feet tall and 42 feet long, and it takes all that into consideration of the types of roads and underpasses that I'll be going under. So that's really, really nice. Before that, I would always have to use something like a Rand McNally map and plot out my route and make sure, especially if I'm on state roads, or even worse than that, county roads. Like if I'm up in South Carolina going to the beach, sometimes you go under some weird underpasses or have the opportunity. I wanted to make sure I always use truck routes and use the truck route map to avoid underpasses that could do damage to my fifth wheel. Well, the nice thing about it is these Garmin's, this keeps going off here, these Garmin's that you see like this have that ability to be able to understand what those routes are. And you know, so far so good. So before we go into some of the features, functions, and those capabilities, let me show you what all comes in the box. Let's look at what all comes in the box. First, this is the RV 895. I'll put it next to my face. You can see how large it is. It's a very large 8-inch screen. A lot of features and functions, a lot of capabilities. I'll show you the programming, how you set it up and do those types of things real quick. But this thing is feature rich and it has a ton of capabilities. I wanted to use the speaker that's on board here to make sure that it was loud enough for Joan and I to be able to hear as we were driving down the road. And the answer is yes, it's very clear. A little bit of a boxy sound, but again, the little speaker is right there, and it's, you know, broadcasting to the back toward the windshield, but it's still very loud, and you can adjust the loudness of what you want and how clear you want it to be. The other thing that I'll show you is some of the accessories that come with this as well. So it has a wide range of accessories. When we first tried this, I didn't want to go through a whole lot of elaborate things to be able to use it. So on our first trip, I used the windshield adapter. I wanted to see, you know, does this hold well to the windshield for the weight of that? Bumpy roads, bridges, those types of things. Did it shake loose? The answer is no. It was a very firm, very good connection to the windshield. I didn't have any problems with it whatsoever. And they give you this unit here. This is a magnetic unit. I'll show you how it works. You mount this to the windshield. There's only one way you can put it on, and it snaps on just like that, very tight. And this is where you also power the unit. So that works very well. And they give you two adapters. This comes on the unit. It's what I call the ball mount. And this ball mount, when you snap it on, fits inside this, and you tighten it on, and this is what holds that unit on. And then to keep it from being stolen, if you're in an area that you're concerned about that, again, you can snap it off this face relatively easy. Now, I've got videos to where I have put a bulletproof system on the dash of our F350. So those are the rods that come out, and then you can mount various devices. The good thing about it is it comes with the ball mount that you can use with a bulletproof or a bulletproof-like system. So that's what I used on the rest of our travel as we were going about and as we're continuing to go about. And I like that. I can adjust the height on my bulletproof system, and I've already got that investment made. And then I can put it at the angle that I want, right above the air radio, right by the air conditioner vents, and it worked really, really good. The other thing that they give you is a nice power cord with lots and lots of cable. So I was able to plug this into our accessory jack or cigarette lighter jack, whatever you want to call it, and then plug this in and power it. And then also, while I was playing with it, which was a lot over the last several weeks, I would run the batteries down, or they would be weak when I would come back in the camper. So they've got this USB to USB-C cable that you can also plug into the side here, right here, and that will handle any of the programming you may want to do, updates and things like that, if you don't have Wi-Fi or something like that. But the big issue is it was very, very simple. I could plug this into just like what I used to plug my iPad in with, you know, just standard USB-A, and charge it back up. So that was no problem whatsoever. So it's a very, very nice unit. Again, the readability of it is super, super great. Here, you have to do that when you look in it. There's your kind of like your primary programming screen. So let's sit down with it, and let me show you some of the features and functions and capabilities. Then I'll kind of give you my overall experience of the last 3 or 4 routes that we've used, both just direct down the interstate, point A, point B, pull off the interstate, go down to a major state road, major thoroughfare, get to the campground. This thing is loaded with features, and you'll see that as we go forward. One of the first things that I suggest you doing is going to your settings and go down here to wireless networks and log into your wireless network. So it's pretty easy to be able to do that. We're logged on there. You can see that we're right here connected, so everything looks good where we're at. The next thing that I would suggest you do is go here to your updates and check to see if you have any updates. So I've already done that. Make sure you get the maps that you want and make sure you don't need any software updates that are there. You'll see I've got green checks on both of those, so it's very, very important. Next, build your vehicle profile. Here you see we're set up for our tow. The camper, we're a total weight of 30,000 pounds, a 20,000 pound camper that's 42 feet. So adding, all this together, we are a very nice long 52-foot package here as we go down the road. So that's something you definitely want to get put in place. You want to also set your height adjustment. So you can see here our height adjustment is 13.5 feet. I advise you to do that. It's going to require somebody to get up on top of your fifth wheel and measure from its highest point to the ground. You do not want to underestimate that, as this does your route planning for you. Then you can set up your navigation settings here for whether you want turn-by-turn mode, what types of avoidances that you want, things like U-turns, carpool lanes. We have unpaved roads. That's very, very important that you want to check that one off if you're pulling a big fifth wheel and you don't plan on going down a dirt road somewhere. And then you can do custom avoidances, and there's just a number of things, whatever language you want it to speak to you. You can look at travel history. It can show you where you've been, and of course you can clear it if you want to do that as well. So that's also important. You can set your map display. So you can pick the icon that you want to be able to use, whether you want 3D map view, that's what we use, normal map detail, just a lot of features here that you can just play with. And, if you're up in Canada and you need this to be different than miles, you can take care of that. You can fix it. So that's important. Again, I talked about wireless networks. Driver assistance is very, very helpful. So I like this. We've got this one set to where it tells us that we're coming up on a railroad crossing. If you're on a state road or a county road, a lot of times those railroad crossings can be quite uncomfortable to go over and can possibly, shake up the fifth wheel a little bit. So we want to slow down before those. Things like schools and curves and construction zones, etc., etc. You can set this up that, if you're going over the speed limit, it'll give you an audible alert. That works. We've tried that. You can do things like proximity alerts, like red light cameras. And guess what? That works as well. It did find them. So many things here. You can do brake planning. So you're driving down the road, you're going to have a long tow, you want to pull over in 3 hours, it'll send you a brake reminder that you need to be preparing to pull over somewhere. And then what you can do for your planned arrival once you get there. So again, tons and tons of features for things like that. Traffic mode that you have here. So one of the things that you want to be able to do, you'll see that I've got Garmin Live Traffic, and the way that you do that is you load an app called Garmin Drive. So if you can make that out here, you can actually see where I have that loaded here. And that will use the cellular connection that you have as you go down the road, and it will give you traffic information. It's very handy. I like that. And then you have something called Optimize Route. Now, that comes with goods and bads. So this is one of the things that you're just going to have to play with and see, based on your travel types and skills and capabilities, what you want to be able to have as far as a route. So there's a lot of different features that you can set here. You can go manually switch routes on request, or you can do automatic switch your route automatically with sufficient savings. I don't use that one because sometimes that's going to send you in a location that you may or may not want to go. So I like to have it to where I manually ask if I want to do it. It's a Jerry preference, and that's just something that you'll have to play with again. You've got all kinds of display options, personal options, time, device information, all those types of things. The other thing that I want to be able to show you is this campground function. So in this campground function, I will show you, this is one for Perry, Georgia, that we just drove through not long ago, and you can see, you can literally tap that as you're coming close, and it will give you all kinds of different locations. This is Fair Harbor. It's a nice place. And you can hit the go button and it will take you there, or you can hit the I button and it will give you information. The biggie is it will give you the telephone number, so you can call them ahead of time and go, hey, I'm getting close. I need a place to stop for the night. And so you can do those types of things. That's very, very handy. So that's a good option as well. You can see things called trendy places. So again, you can go to your search filters, and I have all my search filters turned off because I didn't want them popping up. But let's say we were looking for, say, maybe a place for a museum. We can do that. We can do save. We can continue to look at Perry, Georgia and the Cordell area. So we've got all kinds of things. We've got the Drummer Boy Civil War. You got the Museum of Aviation in Warner Robins, Georgia. I have a video on that. Go out to ilovervlife.com and check that place out. It is incredible and it's free. And then also, if you're an old telecom guy like I am, you'll want to go down here to number 3 and go to Leslie, Georgia, right off the interstate, and go to the Georgia Rural Telephone Museum. It's incredible. So, you've got those types of features as well. That's very, very handy. You can look at the various apps that are located here. So there are tons of apps. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. These are one of those things where it's great just to be able to get it and play with it. But, you've got campgrounds, and you got all kinds of things, finding pilot flying J's, just on and on and on. You can record your tracks. You can look at traffic. View your map. You can look at weather. Weather is great. Usually we're having to pop that up on our phone as we go down the road, and I can just quickly go over here on my map and hit apps, or I can tap the weather button here. And currently you see it's partly cloudy and we got rain coming. Now here's the biggie. You want to do some route planning. So let's do some route planning. Let's create a route. So I'm going to do a start location. And I am going to search for, I'm going to start my search at High Falls. So I'm going to start my search at High Falls State Park, right outside of Forsyth, Georgia, up in Monroe County. It's one of our favorite state campgrounds. So we're going to select that as our starting destination. And then we are going to select, you can add, this is where you add waypoints. So this would be like if you wanted to stop at a rest stop somewhere, or you're going to have a long trip and you want to pull over to campground overnight. Typically I have multiple routes for that. If I'm going to stop for the night, I use another route for the next day. So next we're going to select a destination, and we will go to one of my favorites, which will be Ocean Grove Campground, located in St. Augustine, Florida. So let's put that location in. I'm going to put the address in. So we put that address in. We're going to hit search. And there we go. And we're going to select that. And then we're going to hit next. We're going to calculate the route. That was done real time. Now, here we go. We're seeing the map located here. You can expand it with your fingers. You can hit pluses. So we can go up here and see what our road is going to look like as we leave the campground and High Falls. There you go. We can look at that. So we can see it's a pretty straight shot out of the campground. We can do our turn by turn. We can look at shaping. We can do things like that. So I'm going to zoom back out. being that I know this route, I want to see how they're going to send me down through I-75. They're going to route me down I-10. That's the way I want to go. And then this is even more important. I don't want to drive through downtown Jacksonville. I want to go around the 295 loop that will take me to I-95 South. So guess what? I didn't have to do anything here. That is the preferred route for my big RV. You can see that to where it's routing me around that. So that's very positive. I like that. If you use something like Google Maps, it's going to send you through Jacksonville. I know that for a fact. And then I want to see what my last mile is going to look like. And since I already know this route, because we've been here dozens and dozens of times, it's going to take me exactly the way I want to go, that I have been many times before, and I know this is large, big rig friendly. So it's going to take me to Highway 207. You can see that here. And then it's going to take me down and do the bypass down by the Publix, and then I'm going to hit A1A, and it's going to take me directly to the campground where I want to go. So that's perfect. That's perfect. Now, if I want to save this, if you'll notice there's a little disk setting right here, I can hit that, and I can do done. And now it's all set up. Now, this is something that I wanted to show you. I can hit go, and I can hit OK. It's going to calculate the route. And I can now hit the start function. And then what I like about this, it shows you the planned arrival. It shows you we're going to be the time that we're going to be leaving at. It's going to show you what time we get down there as far as this trip, and shows me how many miles. And it's just an awesome thing to be able to do. Lots of functions that you can see here. There's the remaining route that you can look at, and since we haven't left yet, that's what it looks like. You can do turn by turn, and turn by turn will show you what's at the specific exits that are nearby as we go down the road. You can see Love's travel stop, and you can see rest areas down here. This is what I love. You can see where your rest areas are. So this is a very, very, very nice setup. Very easy to use. It is literally that simple. And again, you can look at trendy places once you get to your location that you're going. It's very, very easy to use. Something else that I wanted to show you, once you pull up your route and you're traveling, let's say that it is time for a break. So based on this, they're estimating that you can see the overall travel time here is 4 hours, and we want to be able to take a break. You can hit the coffee, and it'll say, hey, roughly about 2 hours and 45 minutes ahead. That's 178 miles, and that'd be a good place for you to stop and take about a halfway point break. And you can hit your search right there, and it will give you all the things that's located in that area if you want to choose this to be able to pull over and take a break. So you can keep just going on down until you can find something that might fit your specific needs. I find that just an absolutely fantastic option that makes it very, very simple. So your co-pilot sitting next to you can do those types of functions as well. There is feature after feature after feature. It's going to take us probably months to be able to get comfortable with this and go through every specific feature. And probably about 6 months from now, we'll probably do an update video on this and kind of let you know how things are going and what else we find about this specific unit. Overall, I really like the Garmin RV 895. It's a very nice unit. Big screen, good sound. The touch functions are very, very simple, very easy to use. I like that. If I need to do waypoint management compared to what I used to have to do from a PC perspective, now doing it from the touch screen, it's many, many, many times easier. So overall, that's really nice. And then the thing that we're continuing to learn how to be able to use, even with just 2.5 months, roughly almost 3 months of use, is all the other additional features, especially when you're wanting to do things like what's in a destination once we get there. This will give you so many tips to be able to do it. And then from a travel perspective, what is at a specific exit? If we're doing a long tow, 5, 6, 7 hours, we need to pull off somewhere at an exit that might not be a rest stop. we can do some forward planning either before we go, or if there's something that comes up and we need to pull over as we're going down the road. This helps us be able to find what's at those exits. That's very, very helpful. So everything from gas to food, Walmart, etc., you can find all those types of things. And then again, once you get to your destination, there are tons and tons of information this is able to pull from. And once you connect it to Wi-Fi, then, especially if you're doing your route planning, there is so many things that you can see and gain access to. And of course, we have Wi-Fi inside of our F350, so it's constantly connected. You can do that through your phone, or you can do it through a hotspot, and that brings up additional features as well. So I'm pretty impressed with this overall. So I'd like to thank TechnoRV for being able to just give us the trust to be able to look at this thing. I mean, I must tell you that when they called me, I told them no, that I was absolutely not interested in looking at a fixed GPS system. Just again, past experience, and I know it was 8 years old. And they said, just give it a try, just give it a try. So they knew from their use that much has changed in 8 years. So if you're looking for something like this and you're needing a dedicated GPS system, give one of these RV895s a try. I think you'll be very impressed with what its capabilities are. I do want to mention that with any GPS system, I don't care if you're using something on your phone or you're using one of these fixed devices, it's still up to you to make sure you're getting to where you want to go. We had a recent piece of travel that the individual that I called at the campground said, do not use a GPS once you pull off the interstate. I don't care whether you're using GPS or Google Maps or Apple Maps or any of those types of things. It will send you the wrong way, and you don't want to go that way. And I said, well, what should I do? They said, go to our website and do it. So the route planning is still up to you. Usually it's not to the exit that is the challenge. It's once you get off the exit. And these are only as good as the maps and the algorithms that's being written. So it's still left up to you to make sure you follow the route and don't let it send you down a way that you want to go. And again, it's easy to change that with the waypoint management. Usually if you want to go to a different exit, it's as simple as just picking a gas station or something that's nearby to force the GPS to take you to that exit, and then it will route you properly to the location that you want to go. Again, that's with any system that you use out there, and that's just the challenge of not using paper maps. Always do your route planning. So again, thank you to TechnoRV for sending us this unit. We appreciate it. If you're wanting to consider something like this, you go down into today's description. You can get a link to be able to find this device at TechnoRV, or you can go out to ilovervlife.com, and I'll give you some additional information about this unit, some more detailed specs that I didn't put into the video. And again, there'll be helpful links there to direct you to TechnoRV to be able to get this. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you find these types of evaluations helpful. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. If you'd like to subscribe, I would appreciate that. Roughly 75% of the people that view our videos are not subscribers, but that's okay. We appreciate you watching. And I do this for one reason. You got it. It's because I love RV life.